What's up, guys? It's Andrew with Long Range Gear, tearing down an NV4500 today for a local diesel shop. Let's get into it. So the customer's complaining that it sounds terrible when you spin the input shaft. I don't know if you can hear that. Something's broken. So off camera, before I started filming, I did break loose all the extension housing bolts just because they can be kind of a pain when they're stupid 12 points. So I haven't broke it loose yet, but now I have. So pull the top cover. This is out of an 04 Ram with Cummins. I don't know exactly what happened to cause the failure. Didn't get a whole lot of info. Just the shop owner called me. I was like, hey, got a transmission needing built. Help. Shop is a train wreck. Give me a break today. Zach is still gone. And he's the one that holds the shop together. Forks look really good. God, there's so much RTV. Holy crap. If it comes off in big pieces like this, you're doing it wrong. It's okay, we'll reuse that. Alright, so seeing right off the bat, good old third gear chunk. Missing a ton of teeth. And the countershaft is pretty wiped too. Alright, so I am really not a fan of these pinch bolt fifth gear nut fixes. In this case, it looks like it really held up. I'm gonna go get a Torx bit real quick. Yeah, I don't like these pinch bolt ones, but they are definitely easier to remove. For sure. So like, I won't use them, but I like seeing them on here. I take them apart. We use a combination of, the new main shafts that we use have two staking areas. And we like using conventional, the conventional nuts. We use a lot of sleeve retainer, good ultra high quality sleeve retainer underneath fifth gear, a bunch of red Loctite under the nut, and then the half moons that go on the main shaft. So we replace all the fifth gears too, so I don't care about this. As you can tell, we have a factory main shaft. You can tell because there's no splines right here. But I don't know, it looks like it was holding on there fairly decently. Can't be too mad at that one. My shop is an absolute train wreck right now. We just got back from Vegas. We did 6-speed swap in the welder up power wagon. That was pretty cool. Stupid countershaft won't even spin. But Zach had a pre-planned vacation leading up to that, so he took another week off or so after the fact, so he stayed down in that area. He's the one that helps keep this shop together. So fifth gear clutch cone actually looks like it's in really good shape. I mean, there's a little wear on the tips. We replace, I don't know, pretty much all of these. Anyway, just all the clutch cones are so cheap and just such good insurance to ensure a good shift. Well, almost made it. So nice sharp teeth. This is actually in really good shape. I'm definitely gonna be reusing this. On the slider, the fifth and reverse slider. So whenever you break teeth, that looks in good shape. Whenever you break teeth on any other gear in the transmission, you really gotta check all your tooth faces and peaks to make sure you didn't cycle a chunk, even a small chunk between gears. And once you create one like you know, indentation, one location of pitting or a crack, that gear is going to shear under load at some point. So fifth gear looks pretty good there, actually. Fifth countershaft gear, I should say. Okay. Bearing retainer looks all right. Bearing itself looks pretty good. All right, so if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you've probably heard me piss and moan about RTV. So some guys just love using RTV, like maximum qualities or maximum quantities of RTV. So this is where it rears its ugly head. I'm surprised at the condition of this bearing race because somebody just gobbed this full of RTV. And there's an oil passage right here that you might see. You also might see that there's a chunk of RTV almost completely blocking it. So this was inhibiting oil flow that goes through this passage, comes down and feeds this input bearing. These are the things that you have to pay attention to when you want a good build for longevity and reliability. The bearing is cloudy, but it's actually in far better shape than I thought it would be, having restricted oil flow. There's a little bit of spalling, but still less than what I would have expected for that. Something to keep in mind, guys, something to keep in mind. So we're checking sealing surfaces. Great, actually. Checking the tips of this input, or the tip of this input, I should say. Looks great. This is probably a really good transmission until it went kaboom. That bearing's kind of ugly. So you can end play was definitely excessive because there's a, I don't know if you can see this, there's a hard line on the back of this bearing and nothing equivalent on the front half. So that means this input shaft, they were doing this sort of thing. That's from end play. You have to set end play tight on these. I obviously did not take an end play measurement before tearing this down. Frankly, I don't care. Two shims, so somebody attempted at least at some point. Timkins. Ooh, lots of spalling on this bearing. Probably not gonna be able to tell on camera. Yeah, that one's no good. I mean, obviously we replaced them anyway, but it's good inspection practice. So I really try to reuse stock input and stock input retainers if I can. This one looks to be in great shape. I will reuse this one. They have a better fitment together like this than the aftermarket ones do. With the aftermarket ones, you might get some growling or groaning in fourth gear. There's not, you know, it's a weird noise. It kind of alarms people, but it's nothing to really be concerned about. It's just a super small variance in fitment when you're in direct drive. Not a huge deal. Come on. So this 3/4 slider got nice sharp teeth, good sharp edges on the side. Nice sharp teeth, good sharp edges on the side. That'll get reused. So you want to make sure there's no grooving in this 3/4 hub. Where this bearing rides, if there's like a lip that you can feel. That one's pushing it. it'll probably get replaced, but if you're doing it at home, I would say you could probably run it. Third gear, not looking so hot. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, to continue on, I'm pretty quick to throw new clutch cones at these, and new washers to keep clearances nice between gears, thrust clearance. Pretty much everything gets new clutch cones all the way around because they're like 25 bucks through Transtar if you got a good account. It's just, so 75 bucks to just like make sure it's not going to pop out of gear is a small price to pay. Gives a much nicer shift quality anyway. So this second gear looks freaking great. Super excited about that. The only one I will try to retain a little bit is the, like I said, the fourth gear, the input clutch cone. But any hint of wear, hint of anything weird, or any indication from the customer it's ever popped out a fourth, even for other causes, no, I'll just swap it out. It's not that big a deal. Okay, so your second gear synchronizer looks awesome. So some of you might look at this and go, ooh, that was getting hot. Well, it's important. On NV4500s especially, they just seem to get so disgusting. They're just dirty transmissions. These actually clean up really, really well. This is probably a really good shifting transmission. One, two. So you can check your thrust surfaces here. Man, this was a really nice transmission. Everything is super sharp and pointy. There you go. Hub's in great shape. This is going to be a quick and easy rebuild, which is so rare nowadays. So you might notice these synchronizers that have, like, they're quadranted. Well, like, I don't know what the word is. If there's only three, whatever. This is a no him style synchronizer. They work good, but they're not made like this anymore. Now they're like a solid, like woven fiber, just like this. And they work awesome when you pair them with Redline MTL, or I'm sorry, MT85. Oh, that's a lot of clearance. I wonder if we're gonna have some weird wear. I've been getting a bad rash of reverse gears just getting super worn, and reverse washers. I think I'm out of reverse washers. Ooh, she's getting toasty. Thinking. All right, let's check out reverse. I was kind of expecting this to look really bad considering how much wiggling reverse gear was doing on there, but this looks great. That's definitely reusable. So one way to tell if reverse is smoked, you can feel like this on the edge. If it's kind of sharp, it's been wearing down. That washer is harder than the steel on this gear. So reverse has definitely been getting beaten up. These peaks right here are all kind of blunted. I don't know if that's even coming through on camera, but they're really rounded over. That generally means that whatever it's contacting, which is this reverse clutch cone, is also wiped as it is. So those two things that connect each other, if there's grinding, that's this happening instead of engagement. So those two things have to be replaced. Synchronizer actually looks okay, so I don't really know, you know, what it was like, or I don't know if it was a slow symptom or what. It was probably just incorrect fluid being used, not allowing the synchronizer to work properly. Oh, come on, bro. Good God. So no thrust wear, but you can see, might be a little bit easier to see, super blunted right here on these teeth. So obviously the slider and clutch cone combo will get replaced. Not a huge deal, it's just a small cost to the customer. Man, first and second gear looking beautiful in this transmission. Nice and sharp. And then not just the peak in the center, but the edges on the side. Those are when the slider's engaged on it, those sharp edges they have a back cut behind them, and that's what engages and holds when it's under load. Sometimes you'll hear guys say it's popping out of gear when you let off the throttle. So the nice sharp edge starts getting rounded from wear, and then that back cut's less effective. So it'll start by popping out when you let off the throttle. So basically you're unloading that back cut, and then if you just continue to drive, eventually it'll start popping out of gear under load, and then eventually it just won't stay at all. Synchronizers look great. This is going to be a good transmission. And another OEM main shaft to throw in the trash. All right. So usually when you break a gear, the gear that it touches gets destroyed as well. I don't know if you can see that. Countershaft missing a buttload of teeth. Oops. I did not grab this anti-rotation pin out of the countershaft. My bad, my bad. All right. Gotta grab my pullers, 1 second. Oh, guess I can pull this out first. So this is your reverse idler. So this is a new style case, so it's a narrow idler. These countershafts are available locally to me. A local Transtar keeps them on the shelf, and I go buy them all. And they take all my money, and I make $5 per rebuild. Should raise my prices. Looks like we didn't cycle a bunch of metal. That's really good. That's better. So the countershaft bearings are really telling because they're on the bottom. Even if you run low on oil, the stuff on the main shaft will start to suffer. But you have to be either really low on oil, or there has to be like an assembly problem to cause bearings on the countershaft to go bad. And these look beautiful. It means it was well oiled and at least halfway decently set up. Man, wiped. All right. There's my spacer. All right, now we have third gear and countershaft teeth. Whole bunch of them. Boom. Yep. So we get the PTO covers removed. We typically leave this reverse shift rail in place because we can clean it really good with it in there, and it saves a little bit of time. We will run this case through the parts washer. Thought I had a rag. Make sure we're going to inspect around here if there's not any cracks. You know, but it doesn't look like any gear teeth got cycled through, so I think we're okay. Yeah, so this customer is going to be, let's see, there's a slider that needs replaced. I don't normally bill for the clutch cones because, like I said, I replace them anyway. So the slider, though, that will get replaced. The slider, the countershaft, third gear. I didn't really see anything else. I'm going to cycle everything through the parts washer and take a closer look at that reverse gear and see if we can run it or if it needs replacement. But everything else, aside from this third gear failure, looks really, really good. And I'm pretty happy with the condition. This will be a good, quick rebuild. I have these other parts either in stock or available to me, nice and close. So in all honesty, if I didn't have anything on the plate already today, I could get this thing rebuilt, you know, by tonight. That's how quick of a turnaround it could be. Really filthy, so a lot of cleaning, and obviously we paint ours up nice. We go with a cast iron tail housing. There's some videos about what we do to solve fifth gear. New main shaft, obviously new bearing, Synchro kit, small parts kit. We'll go through the top cover, make sure that's good. If not, we rebuild the top covers too. You know, we can get these things really fresh pretty quick, so cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Super helpful. Trying to get it to a point where I can, you know, actually carve out a slice of my day to do this a little bit more often, and justify it. So like, comment, subscription, share it. Anything is helpful, guys. Long range gear, www.lrgdiesel.com. Long range gear on Instagram. Thanks, guys. Bye.